Hello everybody, it's Philip from MDF2 and this is our week 4 project video. We're dealing with the movie player as well as advanced features of the table view. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at how the sequence flow works here. So here we have our main program. We pull our remote data, we build our data, and then build our table. From there, we have our table view with our image, our movie, and show times, as well as our header view with the header image, the movie theater title, and the movie theater address. I did create a nice little link from the movie theater address out to the movie theater website as well, so if you click on that, it takes you to Safari to that web page. If you click on a row, it takes you to movie theater details, which will show you a back button at the top, the title at the top, as well as the movie poster. You'll be able to watch the trailer and watch the movie, see the show times, and take a look at the plot for the movie as well. If you click Watch Trailer, you'll see that it goes ahead and goes immediately into the portrait mode. But the great thing is you do have the ability to rotate the screen and go to landscape as well. So while this is a portrait application, you do have the ability when watching a movie to go landscape. Once you click Done, it'll set the rotation back to portrait and take you back to the detail view. You can go ahead and also click Watch Movie, which will actually resize the underlying movie view, which is this black view right here, to the whole container size up here. So it resizes the view. It enables the play and stop buttons and starts playing of the movie. If you click on play, it'll go ahead and check the play state and either pause it or play it based on the play state and set the status of that button. You click on stop, it'll resize the view back to what it was and go back to our details. So we used our detail view here as the holder for not only our trailer but for the movie as well, just to make that a little bit easy. Let's go ahead and show exactly what that looks like for the application. So here we have the application and all of the movies associated with it. That's the Cinemark Galleria. We scroll down, we see the Cinema 5 and all their movies, and then the AMC Lowe's Waterfront as well. If we click on a movie, we get all the details for that movie right here. We see the show times, the plot, and we see the watch movie, watch trailer. If I click watch trailer, she starts loading up. I can rotate the screen, go sideways if I wanted to, doesn't matter. I can click on done to go back. I can click on watch movie, which will expand the view, and I can pause, play, stop, and go back. So that's how that application works. Let's go ahead and take a look at the code and see how all of this comes into play with each other. So here's our primary layout. As we can see, it's just pretty much two view controllers. Our primary view controller has a table view with a prototype cell for the individual movie row. And the movie row has an image, title, as well as the show times in it. And then, of course, we have the movie detail view with all of the layout that we actually like. Now, you'll notice that even though the application has the big graphical headers, there's nothing inside of this view to do that directly, and that's because we're using a custom XIB file for the view. So if I load up custom header XIB, we'll see that we have our custom header right here. And the way that we add that to our application is we come over to our view controller and we head over and we define our header height, and then we define our custom view identifier, which will be custom header view identifier because our name is custom header view down here. And then this is the magic right here. It's the register a custom header. So we'll create a section header nib named custom header view, which is this little XIB down here. And then we'll set our movie table view to use that header view for our header view identifier. Now you'll also note, however, that I do have a custom header.h and a custom header.m file as well, and that's because the custom headers, as you can see here, if I click on the address for a given cinema, it will open up into a web browser, which is the Safari browser, or the default browser on the phone that you're using, and take you to the website address for that theater. And in order to do that, we had to make sure that we handled the click of the site URL, and we also passed the site URL over here. So we've got the site URL right here, and inside of the handler, we have a IV action, which opens up the shared application to that site URL. So how does that all play together? Well, it's actually fairly simple. One of the ways that I decided to do this was to pull information from a remote data source. So in our remote data source, we have what looks like the following. In our remote data source, we have what is this right here. We have our movie site, which is our 3 movie sites, and then we have our movie shows, which is our 15 movie shows right here. And the great thing is, our movie shows reference the movie site that they're a part of. So in order for us to use this data from Parse in our application, we have to pull it first, which is what we do, and then we handle that pull and merge the data into a single object. So the very first thing that we're going to do is handle our notifications for get movies, build data, and finish loading data. And then we initialize our main arrays down here, and then we reload our remote data with the class name of the remote class that we're calling, which in this case is movie site and movie shows. And then we're going to pass the array that we want to populate, and we're going to trigger the next call. When we do that, it will actually allow us to go out there. Here's get movies. It goes out there and lets us pull the next class. And this one right here is build data, which allows us to parse each item in the site array, build a theater info object around that site, and then parse each item inside of the movie array and check and make sure that the movie is added to an associated array of movie objects for that individual site. And then we build the movie object for that. We add that little object into an array, and then we add that array to the site object. And then we call finish loading data. So it actually happens pretty quickly there. Once we call finish loading data, we can go ahead and reload our table view, and everybody is happy. Now the magic happens down here. We have our remote load data right here, which is just a parse query, which allows us to pull from a class name, and then allows us to trigger. If there's a trigger specified, it allows us to add the objects to an array. So this is the generic parse class right here that we're passing a class name, an array, and a trigger to. Goes out to the server, pulls back our data. And then right here is our segue mark. Our prepare for segue goes ahead and creates a movie view controller as our destination controller. We initiate our selection path as the selected row that the person clicked on. We initialize our selected site. We initialize our selected movie as a selected path section and selected path row. And then we pass the selected movies as a movie info object over to the movie view controller. And then for our header, in order to get these beautiful, lovely graphic headers, we have to do number of sections in table view and return those from the site array. And then we do estimated height for header in section, and we set that. Without this estimated height for header in section, there's no way that we'll actually be able to see the first header section. You have to set that for each section that comes up. So without this, you would see the other images come up for section 2 and 3, but you wouldn't see it for section 1. So always include this one in here. And this is what allows us to build that custom section. So we referenced and registered it at the top of the view, and now inside of view for header and section, we're going to reference that section by dequeuing the custom view identifier, so it's reusable section header. And then we're going to pull our selected theater. We're going to set our site name and our site text to the selected theater's information. And then we're going to set our image using a drop-in image class, which allows us to load images automatically into an image view. And then we're going to set our site URL, and then we're going to turn that view. And that's how that is all built out. So it makes it adding the headers to the table view a lot more dynamic. And then we come down here to working with our rows and cells, number of rows in section. If the theater info is not equal to nil, which means if we actually have data for theater info, we're going to return the number of movies for that individual section to return the number of rows that we need. And then we go ahead and manage each row individually. We create a movie cell with the custom movie cell object that we created over here, which handles our image view, image label, which is for a prototype cell. It does nothing other than that. And then we create a reference to that cell. We select our theater. We create our movie array from that theater. We select our individual row from index path row from that array. We set all of our properties as necessary, and we return that cell to queue with. And that's all there is to that application. And then, of course, we do have our custom objects, which is our movieinfo.h, which is all of our movie information right here, as well as our init with data, and our theater info, which is all of our information for the theater, and our init with data. And really, guys, that's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, let me know. And you guys have a great and wonderful day.